This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Books, PD products, science, fashion, and glam talk. From Bollywood to Hollywood, it's Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. And here's your host, international speaker, educator, award-winning entrepreneur, and best-selling author, Dr. Afshan Hashmi.
Hello viewers around the globe, live from Ohio's K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV studio. This is Dr. Afshan Hashmi with her Meet and Greet live with all you beautiful people. And today, friends, before going into the segment, I have two very interesting guests from the movie industry, a producer and a writer who have just released their movie in May. And friends, here, I just wanted to remind you that please go and buy these two books. The first one, The Modern Woman Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And when this book came, there was a lot of study in Harvard and Stanford going on about Jugaad, the buzz Hindi word, and this is a business book but written in a very, very conversational manner, as well as it is very easy on your eyes and it runs like a story, and I have devised a business model in this. The second book is The Outbreak of A Monstrous Infection, and it is a science fiction book. And when this book came, there was no trace of coronavirus, and it shows in a very interesting science fiction story how a virus spreads and rules the human population. So, and these two books were Amazon bestsellers, and for both these books, I am looking for somebody to produce a movie or a film or like a web series or anything. So, if you want, if you are interested in that, then please contact me at afshan@drafshanhashmi.com. And friends, also I want to tell you that these two books are in Nook, in Kindle, as well as in paperback, and also they are in audiobooks. So please go and buy these two books and give me an honest review. And now I will play a film and which will request you for a sponsorship. Roxy, can you please play the film?
Hello viewers around the globe, this is Dr. Afshan Hashmi live for her radio show at K4HD and Talk4 TV show, and I just wanted to request you that please give me sponsorship if you want this show to continue. Having said that, friends, I will see you in another episode of K4HD Radio plus Talk4 TV show, and if you give me sponsorship, I will give you very reasonable price, and also you will get lot of promotion as this show is syndicated worldwide to more than 300 million listeners. Cheers and bye bye.
Now we can go on a break, and after the break I will welcome the two beautiful guests.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad leads to multi-sector success stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad management principle business model. of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration. True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of A Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
Roxy, please bring them in, the guests. Today I have two prestigious guests from the movie industry, the producer of the movie Hamlet / Horatio, David Wenzel, and writer David Vando. Welcome to my Radio Plus TV show, David Wenzel and David Vando.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. So, can you please tell a little bit about yourself, both of you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let David start. I'll let David Vando lead us off.
Well, I have been in the industry since I was a teenager. I've done everything in the theater, from cleaning bathrooms to hanging lights to mopping the floors to writing to directing to acting, to singing, and most recently, a teacher at the New York Film Academy where I teach Shakespeare. That's my particular love at the moment, besides the Hamlet Horatio, which has taken over my heart and soul.
Wonderful. So, David Wenzel, can you please tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. I want to say just over a few decades ago when I was young, I met David Vando at a talent convention down in North Carolina, where he technically had scouted me and offered me an opportunity to work with him in New York City if I decided to move to New York City. So I did. I studied at conservatory. I studied at the New York Performance Works. I studied at Stella Adler, and I also studied filmmaking at the Film Academy, where David teaches. But it's been a long 20 years. I've worked in film and television as an actor, a lot of daytime soaps, episodic. Recently, I was on Showtime with Ray Donovan just before the pandemic, the Ray Donovan series, and have produced since then some feature films that have been released. And David Vando and I came together on this project literally 20 years ago. Started on the stage and moved its way towards the screen. So there's a lot of tenure there that happens between the two of us.
Wonderful. So, what inspired you to make this movie, this present movie which you are promoting, and what brought you to the movie industry?
Well, it started with David's acting ability. He was acting in a production of Hamlet off Broadway, where he had assembled the cast and reduced cast and edited the script down for his purposes. And I went and saw it, and I liked it. I thought it could be better, and I showed him how, and we worked together. And over multiple times, the reincarnation of this production and other productions of his Hamlet, we kept honing in on what we thought was the real essence of the script. Not the politics, not the psychology, not the sexuality, but the spirituality of the script, which is the supreme level in which Shakespeare's works ultimately lie. And we found that we were very limited to the audience sizes that we could reach in the theater, and our ideas exceeded theater ideas and tended more to film. So we turned our attention to film, and we did a first draft of it. That was some years ago. And then we kept nurturing it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And then one day David called me and said, David, I think we're ready to go ahead. And we did. And my mind started clicking with ideas, and it was an overwhelming experience. And I told David that I wanted our film to be for young audiences, readily understood by young audiences, and that I would hone the text so archaic words in Shakespeare would be replaced with words in Shakespeare's vocabulary that would resonate with today's audiences, so there'd be no problems with understanding the text. They could enjoy it like they would see any ordinary other movie. Then I said to him, I want an age-appropriate Hamlet. Hamlet's supposed to be a university student. I want him to be a student age. I don't want us to try and get a 30 or 40-year-old known actor to play the role and have people come to see the actor and not the idea behind our interpretation of Shakespeare's masterpiece. And David said, that's a great idea, but where will you find someone like that can play Hamlet? And I said, I have just the person in mind. One of my very students at the New York Film Academy, a scholarship student that I had found when he was only 16 years old. And I sent David Wenzel the reel of this young man's work, and he said,
I said he was brilliant. I mean, it's hard. It's a very hard thing when you played Hamlet to release that over to someone else, because that was in my body for so long. You know, after digest.
David, we've lost your sound.
Yeah. So we've lost your sound. So can you please repeat what you said? No, it's no. We cannot hear you. So while she's fixing the sound, Then I would like to ask the writer, can you tell a little bit about the movie?
Yes, of course. Just as Shakespeare's play is a play within a play within a play, we conceive this film as a film within a film within a film. And ultimately, the lens of the camera is God's eye watching the world below. Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. We believe that all the world's a soundstage, and each of us has his or her life story to tell. And it's captured by the eye of God. Now, what motivated us most in doing this film was to emphasize the spiritual level of the piece. All of Shakespeare's plays are moral exemplum. They all have a very important moral tenet to portray. They can work on social levels, political levels, psychological levels, etc., etc. But ultimately, to understand Shakespeare, you must understand the spiritual level of his text. And for Hamlet, Horatio, we decided to do the script from the point of view of Horatio. Hamlet's story is told from the point of view of Horatio. And actually, as the film develops, we see that their relationship with one another keeps growing and intensifying to the point that we realize that they are both two sides of the same soul. And Horatio acts very much like the conscience of Hamlet.
So now Mr. Wenzel is back, so I just wanted to ask him what inspired you to make this movie, as well as what inspired you to come to the movie industry and be an actor and a producer.
Yeah, I mean, well, the main thing is that once you fall in love with Shakespeare, there's really no turning back. And as an actor, it's very difficult to kind of do the kind of work that's more fulfilling in your heart and your soul. You're kind of at the beck and call of what you get your auditions in, what scripts are out there, where the industry kind of perceives you as an actor. And so along the way, I've spent 10 years of my life working on and off with Brad Pitt on a variety of films, and I kind of immersed myself using that as a kind of an educational tool about producing film, and really trying to focus on doing things that might be a little bit more personally attached to me, as opposed to waiting or surrendering myself over to other people's productions that they think I'm right for. So that's where the producing aspects come, and this was a marriage of two, because I got to exercise my acting skills in the film as well, and I got to be able to have a little bit more control and destiny in my career than leaving it off in the hands of somebody else, if that answers your question.
So my next question is, from your point of view, what is this movie about and how it came to be?
Well, I do find in a lot of instances with Shakespeare, and I teach younger kids too at a studio in the city, and I find most of them have a not a really great experience with it in school. It's mandatory reading. It's not presented in an inspiring tone. Kids are really turned off with it because they don't really have an understanding, and there seems to be in some educational systems a lack of passion in teaching it other than it's part of the curriculum. So this film was really designed to not to invite all parties in so they could actually experience the levels and all the levels from an entertainment aspect, from a morality standpoint. You know, there's so many different aspects of Shakespeare that are wildly entertaining, and there's a reason why he's been around for such a long period of time. But to keep him alive, you got to engage a younger audience and engage people that wouldn't necessarily watch Shakespeare because they're intimidated by it. This film is made for all audiences, whether you're a Shakespeare aficionado or you're just, interested in a good drama. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I had a 6-year-old boy watch the film, and he told me verbatim, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, everything that was going on, knew that story. Probably sounded like it was me pitching it, and that's a testament to the story. So, we really felt that it was important to keep Shakespeare's legacy alive. One, but two, from two educators and an educated standpoint, to invite people into the world of Shakespeare and let them know that it's not so daunting and as intimidating as you might have experienced.
So the next question is, how can people see this movie? And how's the response so far? And when was it released?
We released on the digital streaming platforms June 1st. And it's on Amazon Prime, it's on Google Play, it's on iTunes, it's on Apple TV. Literally, if you go into your Roku box or Apple TV box and put Hamlet / Horatio, it'll pop up all over the place. You can even see it on YouTube pay-per-view. So that's available, and the response has been incredible. We've had great reviews. We've had a lot of people reach out to us. The press has been extremely favorable. David Van Doe and I have had featured articles written about us and the film. Like I said, the reviews have been really great. Even our distribution company has said, I don't want to jinx it, but this is really good in terms of reviews and how people are very receptive to the movie.
Also, David, the film has won first prize in a total of 7 film festivals in New York, Los Angeles, and all over the world. And only a week and a half ago, we received notice that we won a 7th award. But this was very special because it was from Russia.
With love.
Russia Film Festival honored us by selecting us as their #1 film. Isn't that wonderful? That although our governments are frequently at odds with one another, the artists in both countries can communicate and share and praise each other in peace, in search of the truth and in search of helping humanity. All my actors, they'll tell you the reason they want to act is because they want to make the world a better place. And that was David's and my goal, is make the world a better place. And Shakespeare is the most magnificent vehicle to help us do that. In Shakespeare's world, love is the most important theme. Whenever Shakespeare has characters fall out of love or the love impeded, tragedy inevitably results. And this is Hamlet / Horatio is indeed mirrors that theme of love and spiritual bonding, which makes this such a powerful story.
So what is next in the pipeline for you two?
Well, right now,
right now, it's to get people aware, make people aware of this film who might not otherwise readily tune in on it, stream it, and that's our challenge, because when people see the film, they love it. Yeah. But we've got to get the word out so that people do get to see the film.
Right.
A student of mine, scholarship student of mine, called me and said, David, I just loved the film. I said, oh, good. I'm so glad you did. He said to me, and my grandmother loved it too. So it's not just for young people or students of Shakespeare or theater. It's for everyone.
Right. Right. I mean, I have some projects that are coming up, and I've got 2 features that I'm working on that are in development now that the industry is starting to come back, thank God. But, you know, this film, you know, David and I were discussing, like, actors will come and go on projects, and directors will go direct other stuff, but producers, you know, we're in this for the long haul. We're fighting we're fighting a Hollywood machine, and we don't have the marketing money that they do. So it's interviews like this and being, graced that be on your show and other shows to get the word out and encourage people to give it a try. You know, the feedback in the film has spoken for itself, and I think not only are you going to enjoy it, you're going to learn something about yourself, and you're going to maybe see the world through a different set of eyes. Where, you know, in this world, we're all at least in America now, you know, the country is really divided. You're on one side or the other, and, you know, there's no coming between in terms of communication. You either believe this way or you believe that way, and there's no middle ground. And, you know, this is a movie that should be bringing everyone together and saying, yes, you have your view and I have my view, but, you know, maybe we can be human beings and listen to each other's concerns. You know, I mean, it's very toxic in the world today as an artist, and it's very discouraging, you know, when you see people fighting because one person's got a hat on from the other side. Okay, maybe you don't agree with the candidate, but you certainly don't have to shoot the candidate, right? You certainly don't have to, you know, the fact of the matter is, and I think my point is that we are all immigrants in this country. It wasn't our country in the first place. It was the Indians that owned this place, right? Everybody is immigrant. America is supposed to be for everybody. We're all included, right? And I think, not to get political, but there's a big divide in that. And I think this film kind of, you know, realizes what is important, and knowing that this earth is a short period of time in our life here. There's something bigger. After we leave this earth, there's something bigger, right?
Yeah.
Whether you believe it or not, the fact of the matter is, if you don't, then it's very depressing that you're only maybe 80, 90 years, right? And then in the scheme of eternity, that's kind of a depressing thought. So, you know, this film really attacks that spiritual duality, and all the characters have that duality in them, right? They're all struggling with an internal conflict, and they're all fighting we all want to be happy. We all want to be loved. But Hamlet and Horatio in particular are taking their relationship to another level. Is this ghost of heaven? Is this ghost of hell? Is it better to live? Is it better to die? What's beyond that other side? Who's to say it's going to be worse than what we're dealing with now? So it really poses those kind of questions, and I think those are great questions to ask now. I think this film is very, very relevant to today's society. I'm just asking people, give it a chance. Just give it a chance. And hey, I'll give you David Van Doe's number. You can call him at 2 a.m. in the morning. You can tell him how bad you hated the film or how bad you love it.
So now the next question is that I know many people who are looking for Hollywood agents or Hollywood producers and all for their book to be made into a movie. So what insights do you have for that, for a person looking for a do you guys can act as Hollywood agents or producers?
Yeah, I mean, we can, right now, because everything is so accessible, I mean, you've got mainstream Hollywood, and if you happen to know a celebrity that loves your story, and if it's Brad Pitt, he's going to walk it into a studio and get it greenlit. Okay, so that's like your win-win. That's like you just won the lottery, right? last I checked, a lot of writers don't know Brad Pitt, or
Yes.
don't know Tom Cruise, or don't know any, or don't have representation at CAA or William Morris Endeavor or all your top agencies. So for me, from an independent standpoint, you get your book out, you start to build an audience, you start to go out, look at maybe, get eye on IMDb, look at what actors that you might feel are relevant, reach out to some of their representation, and see if you can get the script covered. Obviously you're translating the book to script, and books are always hot, even up before the pandemic. So, the best thing is, get your story out there in the book, get it a bestseller, even if it's like really rated high on Amazon. Books are a little different than screenplays. If they've developed an audience and there's a novel thrust in there and there's a potential, trust me, they're going to come find you. Okay. They will. And a lot of producers are out there too. I mean, you can go to different, there's conventions around the country. There's, where you want to meet filmmakers and producers. You can get tickets at Tribeca and meet people. Those are producers that are having movies up. All the little independent film festivals that are around, as a book person, go see those films. Go look at the type of films that are kind of the stories that you're telling in your books. Go make those relationships. Ask them to see if they would consider looking at your book for a development deal. There's a million and one ways to skin the cat. I just, it's not so traditional as I go to school, I go to medical school, and then I do my internship, and now I'm a doctor. There's so many different roads here to fruition. And that's why I just say festivals, online workshops, industry mixers, meet as many people as you can. You got a producer here. I know a lot of people. I've acquired a few books. I haven't been able to get them developed yet because, to be honest, I've been working on this project with David for 20 years. This is more than just a film. It's more than a passion piece. This is kind of like our life legacy, like heart and soul and finance and, everything. So I hope that answers your question, not to ramble on, but I hope, there's always...
Would you be looking to acquire some books to be made into a movie if somebody asked
absolutely.
me about
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but if you're like, let's put it this way. If someone's going to send me a Tom Clancy book, like a Tom Clancy kind of style book, it's probably not going to be my thing because that's something that the studio system will do better. But if it's a film like A Quiet Place that kind of has a nice small cast with a very strong narrative thrust, and it could be done, I don't want to say at a fraction of the cost, but like it can be done economical and has a really strong story, that's something that I would look at. If I open up page 2 and it's like I'm on page 2 or 3 and I'm looking at an airplane being hijacked by, it's automatically out of my realm. It's like not even in my space. But if it's like a Catholic priest that lost his way and he's in the church praying to a God that's not answering him, I'm probably going to be hooked on that story. The human. What's that?
But you can act, you can act as a liaison, as a Hollywood agent for a big studio, like since Brad Pitt and other celebrities, you could be a liaison and be a Hollywood agent, right?
Well, I can put dots together. Like I had a great working relationship with Brad, but it's not like I can pick up the phone and call him. Okay. But I know his representation. I know a lot of people around him. I can get material to the people that it needs to get to be seen. And even then I still can't guarantee anything. But yes, I've pitched studio stuff with name actors and worked with, people that have been nominated for Oscars that are still struggling to get their next picture made. Yeah, I can bring it to people. You never know how lightning strikes. It's just in the studio system, it's more methodical. It has to have a commercial aspect to it. It has to have a high dollar return potential in it, and it has to be considered what's a hot package. And a hot package it has to be like a huge box office draw. It has to be a Hollywood director that's got an incredible pedigree. It has to be a cast that has dollar cachet in different markets. Or there's the other way, the way that I love. The independent way. Bring it to independent producers, independent studios. See if there's another mid-level studio that might be interested in producing it. So maybe it doesn't happen to be a theatrical film in all the theaters, which, by the way, we know that's going away anyhow. It could be an Amazon film. It could be a Netflix film. There's so many other ways. When you say Hollywood, it's become so many other opportunities for independent people now to be able to make films that you don't necessarily have to swing for the fences. It used to be, I did my pitch. It was covered by all the studios. They all passed. Now I'm on my own. Not anymore. There's so many talented people. Go to Film Academy. Look at the films, these little filmmakers that are in film festivals. Go meet those people. Those are the producers of tomorrow. Spike Lee took everybody with him out of school at NYU. Do the right thing. He's got the same people at 40 Acres and a Mule that started. Those are the people you want to hook up with. You know, not that to saying that to discourage anybody. You certainly can. But David Van Doe and myself have always been a person that we just don't wait, and we don't really listen to no. If you say no, then for us it's okay. We're on to the next opportunity. How are we going to make this work? Let's re-strategize. Let's go at it from that standpoint. But we don't really ask for permission. We're just going to go ahead and do it.
I see. So now, if somebody wants to reach you, how can people reach you?
Easy. I have my production email, which is onward. I can give that. They can always reach me there, which is onwardandsidewaysmedia@gmail.com. If they look me up on IMDb, they can reach me there, and they can also reach me through my website, davidwenzelactor.com.
Is there a movie website?
What's that?
Is there a movie website?
Yes.
Movie website for this movie?
Yes, for Hamlet Horatio, yes, there is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's hamlethoratio.com.
Okay. And which film festivals have you taken, or you are anticipating to take it to?
We took it to the LA Festival, which is the short festival, and the feature festival. We took it to New York Cinematography Festival. There are all these independent festivals. So we won in New York. We won. It's all over. It's actually, I think we have a list on the website. If not, if you go to IMDb, all those festival winners should be up there. We won 7 awards at 7 different film festivals. So we were highly covered in an area of a pandemic that wasn't doing screenings, and we were fortunate enough to be included in their online packages, and the film was very, very well received in all those markets.
So what is next in your line, in your pipeline?
Hopefully, we sell this movie.
You're getting
I think
promoted.
we lost her for a sec. There we go. There you are.
You are getting promoted to 300 million listeners right now, and in various platforms they will see this interview, your conversation with me. So what do you have to say to them about this?
Just go watch the film. If you have the opportunity, I mean, especially in Bollywood films are all about spirituality and love and family and all that stuff. This is the perfect film that supports that. Even though we may have different cultures, our soul is pretty much the same. And our goals, our aspirations, our beliefs, how we treat people, love, caring, nurturing, not just for family, all the things that are important. Like, we're all connected, all of us. Because before we're white, before we're Hispanic, before we're African American, before we're Indian, we're human beings.
Yes, very well said.
Yeah. I just wish more people would think that way. But for all the listeners, I'm telling you, I'll give you David Van Doe's phone number. You can call him at midnight anytime, and you can tell him how much you love the movie or how much you hate it. But we would just love for you to go see it. We really do, because we really need all the support. We need as much support as we can.
So, do you have anything else to say before we wrap up?
I do want to say I want to thank you for having us on the show. Sorry, I lost my studio lights, and we lost some power here because of the storm. So I'm so glad I was able to connect and log back in with you guys. But I really do appreciate you bringing us on the show so quickly too, and hearing us, because all this is great. But if nobody knows it exists, it's a moot point.
Yes, you're right.
And I can't thank you enough for sharing this with your audience. That's all we could ask. Again, it's available on Amazon. It's on Prime Video. I mean, literally just Google Hamlet / Horatio, and you'll have so many opportunities to watch the movie. And leave a comment. Even if you don't like the film, we want to hear that too. On Amazon, there's comments galore. That's a great opportunity for moviegoers to have that interaction with the producers, which you're more than 9 times out of 10 are not going to get with people like Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg and Aaron Sorkin and all your top Hollywood filmmakers. This is a film that the people will make successful. That's the way I believe it.
So, Mr. Van Du, before wrapping up, do you have to say something?
Yes, I would like to thank you as well, and all your listeners and the viewers for sharing this time with us. I just want to tell you that seeing this film is a transformational experience that you all should have.
Thank you so much for coming in my show. I really appreciate that, and I wish all the best luck for this movie.
Thank you so much. And have your audience, anybody with books, they can certainly reach out to me. I love meeting new people as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. God bless.
So now this is the time after this beautiful conversation with the movie producer and writer, and this was a very interesting conversation. So friends, if you want to reach me and leave some comments about it, you can leave it at afshan@afshanhashmi.com. And I would love you to buy these 2 books, and these 2 books were Amazon bestsellers. And I would love you to give me sponsorship for this show on K4HD and Talk4 TV, as well as the Wednesday show W4WN and K4HD and Talk4 TV. And having said that, cheers and bye bye, and see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. US Eastern Time.
You've been listening to Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in live right here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Would you love exposure to your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And remember, if you missed any part of this show or want to hear it again, find our featured show on iHeartRadio or YouTube, where all past episodes are available on demand 24/7. See you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on K4HD and Talk4 TV.